Hello, good morning. Happy National Blueberry Pancake Day. I'm Penn State student meteorologist Jimmy Wendolek, coming to you on this frosty Friday morning here from Happy Valley. 28 degrees as you're getting out of bed and getting ready for class. Now this cold front being the dividing line between more milder conditions and some chillier air returning to the region, and that is exactly what happens for the day on Sunday. Temperatures drop back below average for this time of year. Now, locations across the entire state are significantly warmer than they were at this time yesterday, still below freezing, which really shows you how cold our conditions were earlier in the week. Now, as we head towards the back half of the weekend, we begin to watch that winter storm I mentioned earlier. Here it is on our upper air map. You see it down in the southeast early on Sunday. It begins to move northwards throughout the day on Sunday, interacting with a northern branch of energy. And look at this low temperature tomorrow night, all the way down to 1 degree. Call Taylor Swift on Sunday because we're going to be feeling 22 as a high temperature. And then we start to see an increase in our highs as we move into the early part of next week. Thanks, Marissa. Skies really have cleared up across the Commonwealth throughout the day. Still have some clouds lingering around in the northeastern corner of the state, but mostly sunny skies from Harrisburg through State College in central Pennsylvania, all the way down into Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is also seeing some serious warmth this afternoon. 67 degrees currently in the Steel City, 67 degrees, the average high temperature on April 30th. Just to give you some context on how unseasonably warm these conditions are. But it doesn't feel like April everywhere in the state. Mid to upper 40s in northeastern parts of the state, 49 in Scranton, 47 in Williamsport, with 50s in between, and warmer again down by Philadelphia. Now, some of those warmer temperatures are being ushered in by some pretty breezy conditions. Highest winds in the state currently in Du Bois, 15 miles per hour, Indiana at 13, and Pittsburgh actually in a tie with Du Bois at 15 miles per hour. Single-digit winds as we work our way east towards the New Jersey border, with 5-mile-per-hour winds in Allentown and 6 in Philadelphia. Now, those winds helping to bring some warmer air into the region, but not bringing any precip with it. Calm across the Commonwealth and really calm across much of the country today. Not a speck of green or white on this map once you get west of the Rockies. The only area of activity that we are really watching is some rain here from Chicago down to St. Louis as a cold front moves through that region. Now, we are going to become very familiar with that cold front here in Pennsylvania as we move through the next 24 hours. We can play Find the Front on our national temperature map. 49 in Chicago, 65 in Dayton, Ohio. That front being the dividing line between some above average and more seasonable temperatures. Out ahead of that front, we are seeing temperatures that are 15 to 20 degrees above average for this time of year. But behind the front, we are seeing temperatures drop off quite rapidly. As we take a look at St. Louis, 22 degrees colder from this time yesterday, 20-degree difference as we get into Omaha, Nebraska, and 36 way behind back in Denver. Now, that colder air mass will be moving into our neck of the woods as we move through the next 48 hours. We watch that cold front just progressively work eastwards later tonight through the overnight hours, arrives in western Pennsylvania first earlier on Thursday, then central, and then finally into eastern portion of the state by tomorrow afternoon and evening. For tonight, that cold front approaches, could see some showers arrive out ahead of it in western portion of the state with very mild low temperatures only in the upper 40s, low 40s as we get into central and eastern portions of Pennsylvania, low temperature of only 50 degrees in Philadelphia. As we get into the day tomorrow, it's a day full of change. Temperatures dropping as that cold front sweeps across the state. Rain arrives in western Pennsylvania first, then central, finally the eastern part of the state. Now look at these high temperatures out in the western third of Pennsylvania, mid to upper 50s. Those are going to be occurring pretty earlier on in the day. Same is the case with the 60-degree mark in the State College area. Now, we are also going to be seeing the winds shifting from the south out ahead of the front, where we're seeing some of these very warm spring-like conditions, to west behind the system as that colder air rushes into the state. And for the day on Friday, we get sent back to reality, kind of, much more seasonable, even 5 to 15 degrees below average temperatures. Mostly sunny skies across central and eastern portions of the state. High temperatures only in the upper 30s to low 40s. Could see a few rain and snow showers up in the north, up by Erie. And we have some kind of gusty conditions in southwest down by Pittsburgh. Remember what the current temperature is in Pittsburgh right now, 67 degrees. Only a 39-degree high temperature on Friday, a very big difference in a very short amount of time. That's it for our two-day forecast. Climate Watch is coming up next.
Curling. It's the sport with the stones, the sweeping, and the yelling that you watch during the Winter Olympics every 4 years. But where did this sport come from, and how does it actually work? The first written records of curling are from the mid-1500s, when Scottish monks slid stones over a frozen pond. What started as a simple activity to pass the time has developed into a competitive sport found in almost every corner of the globe. Official curling clubs were formed in the 19th century, and a rulebook was approved in 1838. The game continued to be played on frozen ponds using brooms made of horsehair through the end of the century. Curling made its Olympic debut in 1924 when Great Britain defeated Sweden and France for the gold medal. After lengthy absences and 2 stints as a demonstration sport, curling became a full-time Olympic sport in 1998 and has been captivating audiences ever since. Canada has won the most medals of any country with 11, but the United States is the defending men's gold medalist, defeating Sweden in 2018.
Can he get it? He can! 5 on the board for Team USA!
A game starts with 2 teams and a coin flip to determine who goes first. The teams of 4 then take turns pushing a 44-pound granite rock down a 150-foot-long sheet of ice, attempting to hit a 12-foot diameter target called a house. After the final stone is thrown, the team closest to the center of the house or the button scores a point. This process is repeated for a set number of rounds called ends. The final stone is also called the hammer, and the team with the hammer has a major advantage in that end. Easy, right? Well, it gets a bit more complicated.
There are 4 members on a team. The most important one is the skip. They're kind of the mastermind and the team captain, if you will. They are in charge of telling everybody where they're going to throw their stones, and they throw the last 2 stones, which is the most important.
The other 3 team members are the lead, who throws the first 2 stones of each end, followed by the second, who throws stones numbers 3 and 4, then the vice, who throws stones 5 and 6, setting the table for the skip. There are 3 main shot types in curling. Guards are thrown short of the house and attempt to block your opponents from scoring. Draws land in the house to score a point, and takeouts try to remove your opponent's stones from play. Getting the stone to the desired location, however, is no easy task. To throw the stone, players push off of the hack, a foothold frozen into the ice. The thrower can then rotate the stone as it is released, helping it to curl in either direction. After the release, 2 teammates sweep in front of the stone, helping to guide it to its desired location. When you hear someone yelling loudly during a curling match, that is the skip communicating with the 2 sweepers. The skip is telling them when and how hard they need to sweep. Each skip uses slightly different words, but generally they are screaming variations of yes and no.
To understand how sweeping affects the stone, we first need to understand how curling ice is set up.
So this isn't hockey ice. The difference between hockey ice is flat. Curling ice is actually pebbled. So there's lots of little pebbles. We actually have something called a pebbler, which is like a big sprinkler, and that will throw out little pebbles of water, which then freeze. And then these pebbles of water are then nipped off the top, so they're all flat on the top.
Sweeping heats up the area directly in front of the stone, partially melting the pebbles on the ice. This allows a thin layer of water to form, further reducing friction between the stone and the ice, allowing it to travel farther and with less curl. Speaking of curl, how does 44 pounds of granite curl on ice? The answer? No one really knows. Scientists have debated for years what causes curling stones to curl, but no definitive conclusion has been reached. There are 2 main theories, however. Canadian physicists believe that much like sweeping, the stone slightly melts the ice as it moves forward. This creates an excess of liquid at the front of the stone, causing uneven friction between the front and back halves of the stone, leading to the curl. Not everyone agrees with that idea, however. Across the Atlantic, Swedish scientists have developed the scratch theory. This theory states that as the stone moves forward, the front edge of the stone causes microscopic scratches in the ice. When the back half of the stone passes over the same area, it hits the scratches, causing the curl. 2 very different explanations for the most essential part of the sport. While friction is the most important physics concept in curling, momentum also plays a big role. Starting at the beginning, the thrower generates power and momentum by pushing off of the hack. This gives the stone the energy it needs to reach the house over 100 feet away. Additionally, unless you are throwing one of the first stones of the end, there is most likely going to be opposing rocks in your way. This makes collisions between stones inevitable during a curling match. Collisions mean that momentum is transferred from one stone to another, potentially removing a stone from play or moving it to a different location on the ice. Overall, curling is a game that is heavily rooted in physics and has drastically changed over the years. Advances in broom technology has made sweeping much more effective, to the point that certain broom heads had to be banned for giving players too much of an advantage. When the sport first began, it was mostly luck, but today's players are more skilled than ever. Understanding the rules and physics of the game, while sometimes complicated, can help make curling even more enjoyable for both players and fans alike. Reporting for Weather World, I'm Jimmy Wendolek.